I am not sure what I just watched. Alright, so a solo review today, mostly just for the sake of getting this done, because this is an indie movie. It's kind of playing in a theater, is a pain in the ass to get to, so I don't know how long it's going to be here, which is why I just want to get this done today. So... I'm stalling. I don't know what the fuck to say about this. This was so weird. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Oh, God. So this is The Favorite, which if you don't know what this movie is, you haven't heard of it, it is a... I mean, I can't say the trailers for this, like... misadvertising, because actually the trailer kind of gets the tone and feeling of the film pretty down pat, where it takes place in Victorian England, where Rachel Weisz plays a duchess who serves under the queen who is not really interested in being a queen. She's kind of wants to do her own thing. She's kind of I don't want to say ditzy, but just kind of out of it, and she has gout, so she's bedridden all day, and when she's not, she's in a wheelchair. There's a new woman that comes in, played by Emma Stone, who, used to be a lady, but then got cast down because I guess her father was a drunken gambler and, sold her out when she was a kid, so, she was a teenager. So she comes back to work for the court, and then she gets a connection with the queen, and slowly builds up, and there's like a rivalry, that goes on between her and Rachel Weisz. Basically the queen gets the brunt of the, it really faces the most consequences out of all the three of them, or at least goes through the biggest transformation, I'd say, personally. It sounds pretty straightforward when I explain it in its basic form, but you actually watch it, it's a whole different ballgame. Because this movie, here's the thing that makes this movie kind of interesting. And this is, like, I don't know if I, really like this movie, but I did find it very interesting, so take that as you will, is the fact that it mixes a lot of weird-ass comedy sequences, with straight it's a very weird blend of dramedy. It's like if you took Pride and Prejudice and you mix it with The Death of Stalin, for those who have seen that movie, and you should, it's really good. And it's a weird blend of, satire, I guess? It's a little bit of political satire mixed in with just some weird-ass comedy, some great dialogue. I mean, the dialogue in the movie is very, very clever. I will give it absolutely that. But, what immediately comes to mind is, there's this dance, this ballroom dance sequence with Rachel Weisz and some random guy there. And they start off in very generic dances, and then it just cuts back to the queen. Every time it cuts back to them, they're just doing, weirder and weirder dances. And it's kind of amazing. But also, I think it was one time I just openly went, "What?" in the theater. The loudest, I should say. There was a lot of edit quietly because I didn't want to be rude. And there's a lot of moments like that. There's a moment where, Rachel Weisz is riding for the forest and it keeps randomly cutting to, a naked guy in court wearing this giant powdered wigs having, I guess tangerines thrown at him. For no narrative purpose that I can see. I don't know. Maybe I have to really sit down and think about, think what I don't know if there's a metaphor. There might actually be. Anyway. But it has such a weird blend of comedy and drama, unlike anything else I've seen this year, but to its credit, it blends it surprisingly well, and it never feels disjointed because of those two very contrasting themes. It works very well and complements each other very well. I just don't know if it was for me. I think it's what it's boiling down to. And the more I think about it, I think I liked it. But it is definitely this is very much an acquired taste of a film, and I feel like I need to watch it again to kind of get it, because first off, I showed this movie late, so I missed, the first, 5-10 minutes of the movie, so I had to look it up on Wikipedia. I had to, go on my shirt, look at, Wikipedia, figure out what's actually going on by the time I jumped in. But yeah, it has great performance all around. Emma Stone does an amazing job here. I'm glad she's finally kind of breaking out as an actress and doing kind of in work. Rachel Weisz has always been an independent, a reliable independent actress for a long time. In fact, like, she mostly just does independent movies nowadays. I can't think of the last mainstream movie she was in, and honestly, she's gotten better with age. She's definitely one of those actors, kind of like Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton, who just ages like fine wine. Like the older they get, the more awesome they are. And Rachel Weisz, especially there's a part where she gets like a badass scar in her cheek, so she has to wear like a scarf over her eye to cover it up. She looks really badass. And she does a great job. Rachel Weisz always has a great way of expressing authority over any given situation, and she does it brilliantly here. I forget who plays the Queen. I'm gonna look her up because she does a great job, and she has a great arc to the movie. And it leaves on a very ambiguous note where you're not quite sure. It's definitely one of those endings that's meant to be analyzed and picked apart. And it's kind of like, what does it mean, kind of thing. And, there's a metaphor with rabbits and how the rabbits represent her children and yada yada yada. But no, she's great through the movie, and you like, she's the only real character you legitimately feel bad for by the time this movie ends, because Rachel Weisz, even though I don't know if the movie wants us to feel sorry for her by the time the movie ends. I honestly don't know. I feel like they do, but she's also pretty awful through a good chunk of the first half of the movie. So I don't really feel that bad. But again, it's hard to say whether or not that's intentional, because the whole thing through the movie, I'm going a bit into spoiler territory here. And like, if this sounds like one of those weird off-kilter movies that you might actually enjoy, then stop watching now, because I do want to talk a little bit about spoilers. I don't want to give too much away, but just a little bit, to kind of illustrate my points, just enough. But yeah, if you want to go into this knowing no more than I've already said, stop watching, go check it out. I do think if you like off-kilter, this feels weird. Like, I don't know if this is really gonna be an Oscar baity movie, because it has the cinematography and the camera work of one, but the script and the way it's presented are very much not. I don't know how that's going to work come Oscar season, but it probably will. So I can see people get nominated for this. What movie did I just watch? I'm trying to look up on Wikipedia right now, or IMDb. Oh God. Oh, am I that tired? Has it been that long of a day? The Favorite. That's what it was. Okay. Wow. All right. The Favorite. Olivia Colman, I think was her name. I apologize for the delay, guys. Yeah, Olivia Colman, who plays Queen Anne. What else has she been in? I'm kind of curious now. Oh, she was in Hot Fuzz. That's where I recognize her. Okay. Yeah, so she plays Queen Anne, and she starts off the movie as this very kind of... She's clearly the queen in title only kind of people, or she's not really interested in being queen. Like, she'd rather just kind of sit around and, like, you feel like she's got some kind of mental disorder outside of the gout that's infecting her legs, or she's just very mentally unstable. Because she's often very manic. She forgets where she is. She might have like Alzheimer's something. It looks like toward the end she had a stroke. I may have to use the bathroom if that scene happened. I don't know. But she's definitely not very clear on what's going on at any given time. She doesn't really know what it means to be queen, or has no real interest in it. She rather do like weird things. Like there's a part where she wants to race lobsters, which is kind of great. We never get to see them race the lobsters. 0 stars. No, I'm kidding. Would that be a reference to her movie, The Lobsters? No, probably not. Where are we going with this? Oh, yeah. So Rachel Weisz, who definitely wants to be the queen, and she's basically taken over the whole thing, and she's very verbally abusive towards the queen. There's a part where she says she wears this makeup. The queen wears this makeup. She comes out and she says, "You look like a badger. You won't go anywhere looking like that. I'll take care of things." And later on, this does come back when Emma Stone basically seduced her, because also Rachel Weisz and the Queen are lovers. I forgot to mention that part. And so Emma Stone, who happens to see them doing the dirty, decides to take advantage of this and seduce the Queen herself, which she does. And she basically becomes the Queen. Emma Stone basically becomes the Queen's new lover, and through a series of shenanigans, kicks Rachel Weisz out. And Rachel Weisz makes one last plea in saying like, it's like, "I called you a badger because I'm honest, and love is honesty." I'm like, Yeah, but there's a fine line between honesty and verbal abuse. I don't really know if I'm on your side on this one. And she is very abusive. There's a part where Rachel Weisz just straight up tries to choke the queen out, like the fucking, one hand against the wall kind of choke you always see in all those movies. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't have a good leg to stand on this. But I don't know if I'm supposed to feel bad for her, if the movie wants me to kind of be glad she gets kicked out. Maybe kind of leaves it to your interpretation. I don't know. If you see this movie, you're kind of curious about that, if your own theories, let me know, because I'm actually really curious to discuss this one. Emma Stone, her intentions are much more straightforward. She wants to be a lady again. She wants to get on the good side of the queen. She wants her power back. She's tired of being a servant, and she succeeds. And it goes at the what cost? Because while Emma Stone's presence definitely encourages Queen Anne to be queenly again, at the same time, she looks like she suffered from a stroke, but I don't know if she actually did. I don't think she does, but that's the way she looks from the time Rachel Weisz leaves to the end of the movie. Well, yeah, Emma Stone got what she wanted, but the queen is not really indulgent in the previous flights of fancy that used to go on, and she's much more in control, which I don't know if it displays it as a positive or negative, just as in she definitely has all the power now compared to what before, when the queen was much more easy to manipulate. So yeah, Nicholas Holt's in this movie too, and he's kind of great. He's great. Yeah, this is just a really weird movie, because especially the way it's shot, there's a lot of lingering, there's a lot of long takes, and a lot of pan shots where it just quickly goes from one to the other, in Signs when they went back and forth on the table, except it's a lot faster. I don't know what you call those shots. I didn't go to film school. And also there's what was it gonna talk about? Oh yeah, and it's also this movie also has a fairly big obsession with fisheye lens, I think they call it. I'm gonna look that up really quick, and that dominates a good chunk of the film, and I don't really know if that's warranted, or I don't really know what it adds to the movie at all, other than just it's an artsy thing to do. If I had any complaint about this movie, is that I think it definitely tries too hard to be fancy. To the point, and I know it's old English, but it's probably you didn't need this. There's no, for example, this is another one of those indie movies that has title cards, like chapter 1 or chapter cards, whatever you want to call them, like chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on and so forth. I'm like, you didn't need that. The movie flows perfectly fine without them. This isn't a Tarantino movie where there was kind of a justifiable reason for it, or at least there's a reason to have that kind of break. But this one, the chapter break will come up and it'll just go right on to the next scene anyway, and you're kind of, at least I was wondering, well, what was the point of the chapter headings if there's no actual transitioning happening, just the next scene? I mean, at least they say, even the Hateful Eight had chapters, but at least there was, narration or, a bookend to that particular scene that justified it a bit more. And, of course, Pulp Fiction, whenever a new chapter started, a different story was taking place, so it kind of made sense. You can get away with it in those cases. Here, this movie doesn't really do that, so I don't really know how well, I don't really know how much having the chapter headings really, get ya. Doesn't really serve much of a purpose to me. I've bitched about this kind of problem before in other indie movies like this. I think I gave that same criticism to Moonlight. Although I would say Moonlight had a more justifiable reason to do it than this movie does. And yeah, the fisheye lens. If I'm saying that right, I hope I'm saying that right. If that's the right one, correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to get my terminology correct. But where was I going with this? Right. So, yeah, that gets distracting after a while. And again, I'm not really sure what the point of it is. I don't really know what it adds to anything. It to me personally didn't really feel make the scenes any more dynamic or interesting than it would have been if you had it out. So I don't know. Maybe there's some deeper meaning to it, or some directorial intention that I just missed. It's entirely possible. I was very confused through a good chunk of this movie. That being said, the more I'm talking about, the more I'm kind of establishing a more firm grip of it. So I just the dialogue is excellent. The acting is excellent. The writing is top notch. It's a lot of the filmography choices I kind of have questions about, and what kind of that form the biggest question marks and really give this movie like this a weird vibe, along with some of the choreography and the way and like the choices that are made in terms of the tones. That being said, it's kind of the weird choices with the tones that kind of make it the most interesting, because you don't really know where it's going or what to expect from it. It kind of keeps you on your toes. There's that kind of a sense of uncomfortableness, which could be very well intentional. It could very much be the way like they want to get you like uncomfortable as you are in court. That being said, I do wish some of the music wasn't as repetitive as it is. Especially in parts that are trying to build tension. I think there's like a good 5-minute sequence where it's literally the same 3 notes over and over again, and once you realize that doesn't stop becoming irritating. But I think where the movie excels is what's going to get people butts into seats for this one. I think the movie works where it counts. The rest are just like more nitpicky artistic choices that didn't really agree with me. I respect their merit, but I don't know. Again, I don't think they were entirely necessary. That's just my opinion, though. Overall, do I recommend The Favorite? Yeah, I'd recommend this. Like, I don't know if I'd watch. Like, I would. This is my movie I'd revisit at some point just to maybe understand it better. But keep in mind, it is a weird ass film. From beginning to end, it's very weird in how it's shot and how it's choreographed. And the cinematography is also really weird. And it's an off-kilter indie movie. And I can't think of anything else I've seen the past couple of years that is like this kind of movie, especially for a Victorian film. Again, the closest I would say would be like Death of Stalin, but that was very much a comedy. This isn't, at least not entirely. So I don't know. It's a very unique film. And that makes it very interesting. So that's not like your bag, then you'll probably like this fine. If you want something more general audience-y, you're not going to like this. This is bizarre. This is a bizarre film. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this. I think I've pretty much covered all my points, so hopefully this will be a much more straightforward video than I usually produce. Like I said, this is a very slow week right now because because we're like right on the cusp of like all the big Christmas releases. Like this is like the comp for the storm. I think next week like 5 fucking movies come out, and the week before and the week after even more come out, because I think just to demonstrate, I think this week, of course, we got Into the Spider-Verse, which I'm probably gonna make a panel on because I know a lot of people are gonna want to watch that. I'll talk about that one. Mortal Engines comes out, The Mule comes out, Once Upon a Deadpool, which me and Grant are seeing tomorrow, comes out, and then the week after that is like Aquaman, Mary Poppins, Bumblebee, Marwen, and all Holmes and Watson. Well, that's on Christmas. So, we're gonna be very busy in the next couple of weeks. It's that time of year where there's so many goddamn movies coming out, and I just don't have any time to fucking watch all of them. So I'm gonna do my best, and I'll hopefully get through as many as I possibly can. I know we got a lot of free time coming up, so I'll probably have more time to go sit down and watch movies, but other than that, guys, The Favorite, I think it's a pretty solid film. I probably like it more the more I think about it, but just know you're going in for a trip. So, I think it's all I really got to say about this one. Like I said, tomorrow me and Grant are gonna check out, Once Upon a Deadpool, and, beyond that, next week's gonna be fucking busy, and the week after that, it's gonna be even more so. It's gonna be fun. Gonna be fun. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.